Weird, in the deepest economic crisis we've had for decades, that there is a government minister who is obsessing over where some people pee. I mean, Belinda, where do you think they were peeing last year?
Why
You're
does
trivialising
if it's little
this.
to you? You don't know what it's like being a girl at school or being a vulnerable woman in needing a safe space to run to.
I've never
I'm sorry,
ever said they shouldn't have them in schools,
you've just
ever.
said that it doesn't really matter because
No, I
of cost
didn't.
of living, or why is it
I
so
said, where
important?
do you think they peed?
It matters to us.
Where do you think they peed before?
Where do I think they peed before? I've only ever known single-sex loos in nightclubs
So where do you think
and bars.
transgender women peed before?
I think there were a tiny amount of transgender
There
women
still are.
before. Now the trans spectrum has become so vast.
Where do you think
it
they peed
includes
before?
and
Oh,
every
you are
sexual deviant? No,
disgusting.
I'm saying it now
How
includes
dare
that.
you say trans people
and
are...
She did not
I did
say
not
that.
say that.
You said they're paedophiles.
No, I said the
What a
trans
bigot.
spectrum has been expanded so much. Does a
Files.
huge disservice to
Does that match
genuine
Ofcom
trans
rules?
people.
Does that match Ofcom
No,
rules?
I didn't say that.
Did you listen
You're
to what Belinda
misquoting
said?
me.
You just said the trans spectrum is
Has
extended
been-
to...
Extended to
Wait,
include the worst sexual deviants who hide under the
You're saying
umbrella,
to gay?
which does a
Rapists and
huge
paedophiles?
disservice to trans women.
Benjamin, you must note there is evidence, Benjamin, of trans, for example, in hospitals using that to women. There is evidence of that, Benjamin. This
to be
is not
clear-
a made-up story. And so the...
Don't need a door to stop them. People who are repugnant and heinous, and people who are, you know, the man that the woman in Clapham, he didn't need to go into a female toilet. He needed to put on a police uniform. The man that those two girls in the 2000s, the Ian Huntley, he didn't need to go into a women's
But do you not
toilet.
understand?
He just needed to
No,
pretend to be a
Benjamin,
caretaker.
society has been conditioned
the Tory
to
MP,
stop
Charlie
women
Elphie,
complaining
didn't
about
need to go
men being
into-
in their
didn't need to go
bathrooms.
into a women's bathroom. He needed to look
Of
like a
course
respectable
not.
member of society.
Of course not.
So the idea
And
of,
there's lots of ways
the
to
idea of
protect
pretending
women in
that trans
society.
people
I'm
are
not saying
plagued by
trans people are. I'm saying the
paedophiles and
trans
rapists
spectrum
is
now shelters
disgusting.
them. You're completely misquoting me because you cannot defend the argument that the trans spectrum
Where
has
do you think
started to
transgender
include.
people peed 10 years ago?
Because there was a tiny minority of transsexuals
That's
then.
not an
Trans
answer.
now
There
means
still
someone
is a
who wants to
tiny.
be non-binary one week, someone who wants to be a girl the next week, someone who
Where do you think they
suddenly
peed?
identifies as a woman once he's been
I
convicted
feel
of a
like Jeremy
sexual
Paxman
crime
with
in
Michael
prison.
Howard. Where do you think they peed?
I think back then, are you
not
saying
gonna
it
get an
made women
answer.
comfortable back then? Because I've been in a loo before with transsexuals flashing, right? And you're saying that my experience is completely invalid and I'm
No, I didn't.
transphobic for having that experience.
Well, you are transphobic.
Yo creo que es muy notorio que el hombre, extremadamente delicado, intenta desviar la verdad y le importa más su agenda que la seguridad de las mujeres. Pero aunque el mundo la niegue, la verdad es inmortal.
Mr. Trump, a group of national and Iowa pro-life leaders was circulating a letter that says anyone but Trump. Effectively, they say you can't be trusted as a pro-life advocate.
Well, that's okay. I mean, that's their opinion. Look, I'm pro-life, but that's their opinion. And if they want to do that, hey, all I can tell you is this. As you know, I'm pro-life. I've been pro-life for a long time.
In 1999, you said you were pro-choice and all.
And I said, what did I say? You didn't read it. Read the full statement of what I said. Read the full statement. No, you're not reading the full statement. Go ahead, get out the full statement. Read it.
Tim Russert.
I know. I remember Tim Russert very well. He was a friend of mine. He was a good man. No, but read the full statement. Okay. Look, they have their choice. They can do what they have to do. I'm pro-life. They can do what they have to do. There'll be many people that will be voting for me, that I can tell you.
Mr. Trump, there are some Ted Cruz, some
Like the full soundbite from Tim Russert, you said him was, I'm very pro-choice. I hate the concept of the.
Correct. Why didn't you read that? By the way, why didn't you read that before? No, but why didn't you read that before? You didn't read, I hate the concept of a... Excuse me, very trustworthy. More so than you. Because you know what? You didn't read the question. See, when you quoted Tim Russert, you didn't read what you just said. Read it again. No, read it again. Go ahead.
Pro-choice. I hate the concept of abortion.
Okay, you didn't read. Why didn't you say, when you asked the question before, that I hate the concept of abortion? No. You were quoting Tim Russert, and you were quoting, you were quoting Tim and you were quoting me. Why didn't you read my quote the way I said it?
I tried to pull it up and I didn't have Wi-Fi.
Well, then you got to get Wi-Fi, okay? Don't ask me questions like that. You're not a very good reporter doing that. Okay, go ahead. No, I said, with CNN, I said, I think you should give money to the vets. I've always said that. Wounded warriors and vets. I think you should give money to the vets. You have a question that now is a legitimate question? Do you apologize? No, do you apologize? Yeah.
For reading your words?
For not reading my words. No. For not reading my words. No, do you apologize for not reading my words? Excuse me, do you apologize for not reading my exact words? No, I didn't ask that. I didn't ask that. Excuse me. You quoted me and you took out the main part of the quote. I'm just asking, do you apologize?
You hate abortion, doesn't it?
Okay, forget you. Just forget it. Go ahead, Sarah. Go ahead.
La verdad fragmentada por conveniencia es el arma de este periodista, disque periodista, el cual parece no saber que descontextualizar no revela verdades, solo expone su agenda oculta.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological spectrum.
I never really talk about left
but
or right.
Anyways, a lot of people
I don't really believe in that.
Okay, a lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
like who?
I don't know who, but
well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody.
Okay, I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not
just
sure.
wondering.
I don't know what your question is.
Then forget that. Why should Canadians trust you with their vote?
Common sense. Okay. Common sense for a change. We're going to make common sense common in this country. We don't have any common sense in the current government.
Debía investigar un poco más, quizás muchísimo más. Y sí, el sentido común ha desaparecido totalmente en Canadá debido al reinado del rey de los progres.
I'm not going to recite some catechism for you. I'm against vicious racial discrimination in this country. So I'm not pledging allegiance to your new religion of modern wokeism, which absolutely fits the test. I'm not going to bend the knee to your religion. I'm sorry. I'm not asking you to bend the knee to mine, and I'm not going to bend the knee to yours. But do I condemn vicious racial discrimination? Yes, I do. Am I going to play your silly game of gotcha? No, I'm not. And frankly, this is why people have lost trust. And I know you're going to go print the headline tomorrow. I already know this. We already know how your game works. Vivek Ramaswamy refuses to condemn white supremacy because you asked a stupid question. The reality is, I condemn vicious racial discrimination in this country, but the kind of vicious and systematic racial discrimination we see today is discrimination on the basis of race in a very different direction. You want to know what the best way is to end discrimination on the basis of race? Stop discriminating on the basis of race. Do that and we're going to move this country forward. And I don't care whether you're black or white or brown or anything in between. That's how we're going to unite this country. You people have been responsible for dividing this country to a breaking point, creating a projection of national division. I meet people from the south side of Chicago to meetings like this one of every shade of melanin, multiple, from man to woman, doesn't make a difference, who are hungry for reviving unity in this country. And you, with your catechism that you try to get to politicians to whatever fake headline you're going to print on the basis of this conversation tomorrow, that's what's dividing this country to a breaking point. Shame on you.
Cuando el victimismo y la ideología woke guían las preguntas, la objetividad del periodismo desaparece, dejando espacio solo para agendas políticas. Y este segmento fue el claro ejemplo. ¿Y tú qué opinas? Déjamelo saber en los comentarios. Y aquí culmina este video. Si te gustó, ya sabes qué hacer. Puedes darle like, comenta el video y compártelo. Asimismo, si este tipo de contenido te gusta, suscríbete a mi canal. Tengo muchos más videos que te gustarán muchísimo. Gracias y hasta luego.